Hello there, children. I'm here again, your science teacher, Ma'am Alunday. And today, we are going to discuss our fifth body system, which is known as the circulatory system. Look at the figure of the circulatory system. As you can see, children, meron tayong mga parts na bumubuo sa ating circulatory system. We have the heart, the blood vessels, and there are three types, and of course, the blood inside the blood vessels. What is the function of the circulatory system? Circulatory system has the process of circulation. And what is this process of circulation? Simply, to distribute food, nutrients, and oxygen to the body cells. And to carry out waste. Ulitin ko, children, ha? Ang circulatory system ay para sa process of circulation. And pag sinabi nating process of circulation, merong dalawang activities na nangyayari. Una, to distribute food, nutrients, and oxygen to the body cells. Or, ang pagbibigay or pagdadala ng food, nutrients, and oxygen to the body cells. So, saan ang galing yung food nutrients? Sa ating digestive system through the process of digestion. And oxygen, galing naman sa process of respiration done by the respiratory system. And the second one is to carry out waste, body waste. So galing yan sa cells natin. Now let us use a colored version of the drawing of the circulatory system. So as you can see in the drawing, the heart is here and the blood vessels are here. So there is blue and there is red. So we're going to use color coding here as we discuss the process of circulation and as a whole, the circulatory system. Now remember, children, if it is red, especially in the blood vessels, it means the blood passing through this or carried by these blood vessels contain oxygen. But if it is blue, it means the blood carried by these blood vessels is blood with carbon dioxide. So isa-isahin natin ang bawat parts ng ating digestive system. Actually, tatlo lang naman yan, di ba? Ang main parts of the circulatory system. We have the heart, the blood vessels, and of course, the blood that travels in the blood vessels. So, unahin natin, children, ang blood, dugo. So, ang trabaho ng dugo is the carrier of food nutrients, oxygen, and waste. Siya yung nagdadala, children, ng food nutrients na galing sa digestive system, oxygen coming from the respiratory system, and waste coming from your body cells. Now, what is in your blood? Okay, your blood grade 6 contains plasma. It also contains 3 blood cells, namely the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and of course, the platelets. So for clearer understanding of the components of the blood, here is the diagram of the components of the blood. As you can see, grade 6, the plasma is about 55% of the blood. It is the liquid part of the blood. So, 55% na pinakamarami sa ating dugo. Followed by the red blood cells. So, from the word red, the color is red. And it carries, okay, siya ang nagdadala ng oxygen, food, nutrients, and waste. Yan ang trabaho ng ating red blood cells, which is about 41% of our blood. And, of course, the white blood cells, 4% of our blood. Ang trabaho niyan, grade 6, is serve as the soldiers of the body. Soldiers of the body. Why? Because these are the components of the blood that fight infections. So kung may mga bacteria dyan, viruses dyan na nakakapasok sa ating katawan, sila yung una-unang lalaban dyan upang hindi tayo magkasakit. And the last component, no, the smallest component actually, siya yung pinakamaliit na part ng ating dugo, and that is platelets. And ang trabaho ng platelets, grade 6, is for blood clotting, to stop bleeding. Okay? Kasi mahirap naman na pag nagdudugo tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng bleeding sa katawan. Pwede tayong maubusan ng dugo. So, para hindi mangyari yan, pinipigilan ni platelets ang pagdurugo or bleeding. So, ang tawag dyan, to stop the bleeding of our body, that is blood clotting. Haharangan niya yung sugat or kung ano man yung butas or part ng organ na nagbi-bleed. Okay? Iipon-ipon sila and then haharangan nila, then it will stop the bleeding process. So these are the 4 components of the blood and their function. Tandaan nyo lang ha, ang trabaho ni red blood cells, remember always, oxygen, food nutrients, and waste. Yan ang dinadala niya. Si white blood cells naman, simply soldiers of the body, fight infections. Si platelets, for blood clotting. Remember the 3 components of the blood, the solid component and the liquid component, which is the plasma. The second part of the circulatory system is the blood vessel. Trabaho nito, children, is the carrier of blood. Siya yung nagdadala ng dugo. So there are 3 types of blood vessels. We have the artery, the capillaries, and of course, the vein. Now again, our color coding here applies, no? It means red. Ano nga ba pag red? Ang dugong dala-dala nito ay may oxygen. Tama. While if it is blue, ang dugong dala-dala nito ay merong carbon dioxide. Very good. Okay. And of course, ang sa gitna, considered as the smallest, are the capillaries. So isa-isahin natin para alam natin ang trabaho ng bawat isa. We have the artery here. Artery. It carries blood with oxygen and ang direction nito palagi ng galaw niya is away from the heart. Take note, grade 6, letter A, artery, away. Ang direksyon ng dugong dala-dala niya ay paalis ng puso, palayo ng puso, away from the heart, palabas ng puso or your heart. Tandaan yan ha, artery carries blood with oxygen and the direction is always away from the heart. Now let's go to the next blood vessel, the vein. So as the color suggests, alam na ninyo, that the blood carried by this vein is with carbon dioxide. And ang direction ng kanyang dugo is pabalik sa puso or back to the heart. Again, vein, blood with carbon dioxide ang dala-dala niya, and ang direction ng kanyang dugo ay pabalik sa puso, back to the heart. Para hindi mahirapan, A, artery, away. B, vein, back to the heart. Sometimes, sinasabi ko yan, balik sa puso. Okay? So, vein. And of course, the third one is the capillaries. It is the smallest blood vessel. Makita naman sa drawing, di ba? Pinakamaliit siya among the 3. Why? Because grade 6, this is the blood vessel connected to the cells. Siya lang yung nakakonect sa cells directly. That's why maliit siya. Kasi alam natin, ang cells ay maliit. So ito ang tatlong types ng blood vessel as carrier of blood. Now let's discuss the four chambers of the heart. So we have the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and then the left ventricle. Again, the four chambers of the heart: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and then the left ventricle. So these are the four chambers of the heart. So yung four chambers na yan, grade 6, ay may kanya-kanyang trabaho. Ang left and right atrium, or atria, plural form niya yan, ang trabaho lang niyan, ito, ni atrium right at saka ni left atrium, are receivers of blood. Tagatanggap lang yan ng dugo, ha? Remember that. While the left and then the right ventricles, ang trabaho lang nila yan ay mag-pump ng blood. Again, the atria here, right and left atria, are receivers of blood. These are known also as the upper chambers, while the right ventricle and the left ventricle are the ones that pump blood. These are part of the lower chambers. Okay, let's continue. In other words, may right side at saka left side ang ating heart. Kasi may right atrium at saka may left atrium. Diba? At may right ventricle at saka may left ventricle. Okay. So this is the left side of the heart and this is the right side of the heart. And take note, ang right side of the heart, ito po yon. Yan po ang may dugo or ang dugong nandyan or dumadaan dyan sa right side of the heart is containing carbon dioxide. While the left side of the heart, the blood that is found here is containing oxygen. So makikita nyo rin yung color coding natin to signify that this blue, the blood here contains carbon dioxide, and then the reddish part, the left side, contains blood with oxygen. Let's continue now with the other parts of the heart. We have here the superior and inferior vena cava. Here, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Take note of the color. So alam nyo na kung anong dugo ang dala-dala niyan. Superior and inferior vena cava are the veins, the biggest veins in our body. Pinakamalaking veins sa ating katawan. Ano nga ba trabaho ng veins? To bring blood back to the heart. So this superior and inferior vena cava bring blood from the body to the heart, pabalik sa puso. As you can see with the arrows, no, yung label ng arrow nila, children, pabalik sa heart, blue. So it means ang kanyang dugo ay nagdadala ng carbon dioxide. And superior vena cava, ang dugo na yan ay galing sa upper part of our body. While yung dugong dala-dala naman ni inferior vena cava ay galing naman sa lower part of our body. So sila ang magdadala ng dugo pabalik sa puso. Dugong may carbon dioxide. So, blue yan, it means with carbon dioxide. Next, part of the heart. Tingnan nyo. Pulmonary artery. Di ba ang trabaho ng artery? Brings blood away from the heart or carries blood away from the heart. So that's why ang arrow niya, children, palabas ng puso. And kanina, sinabi ko na ang artery, ang daladala niyang dugo ay palaging may oxygen. Ito lang po ang artery sa ating katawan na ang daladala niyang dugo ay may carbon dioxide. Tandaan nyo ha, the only artery in our body that carries blood with carbon dioxide. So, artery away from the heart. And take note, pulmonary artery. It means the word pulmonary, this artery grade 6 is connected to the lungs. Itong artery na ito ay connected sa lungs. So, tingnan nyo yung direction niya. Okay? And then, dalawa yan. Ang isa ay connected sa right lung at ang isa ay connected sa left lung. So, ito pa yung isang pulmonary artery. Ang isa, left lung. Ang isa, right lung. So, it is connected to the lungs. The only artery that carries blood with carbon dioxide. Next. So, that's the pulmonary artery. How about the pulmonary vein? Ito naman yung pulmonary vein, children. Tingnan nyo yung arrow. Back to the heart. Diba? Vein, balik sa puso. And from the word pulmonary, it is again connected to the lungs. And as I mentioned earlier, ang vein ay nagdadala ng dugo na may carbon dioxide. But this pulmonary vein is the exemption to the rule because this is the only vein that carries blood with oxygen. So kaya medyo reddish ng color niya, no? Because ang dugong dinadala niya ay may oxygen. So ulitin natin ang pagkakaiba ng pulmonary artery sa pulmonary vein. These two are both connected to the lungs. Ang pagkakaiba lang ay ang pulmonary artery, ang kanyang dinadala na dugo ay may carbon dioxide at si pulmonary vein, ang daladala niyang dugo ay may oxygen. Si pulmonary artery, paalis ng puso, si pulmonary vein, pabalik sa puso. Next part, grade 6, is the aorta. Aorta. Ayan. Ayan, tingnan nyo children, no? Dami siyang arrow, meron pa dito sa baba. Ayan. Aorta or aorta is the biggest artery in the body. So alam na ninyo ang trabaho ng artery. Nagdadala ng dugo away from the heart. But take note of the color. It means ang dugong dadalhin niya ay merong ano? Oxygen. Very good. And saan niya po yan dadalhin ang dugong daladala niya? To the different parts of the body. So, yan po ang iba pang parts ng ating heart. And of course, wag nating kalimutan ang valves. Ayan, maraming valves dito. Mitral valve, aortic valve, ano pa, tricuspid valve, ano pa. Okay? So, yan, may mga valves tayo sa heart. Ano pang trabaho ng valves na yan? Okay? Valves, children, prevent backflow of blood para hindi balik-balik ang dugo. Kasi kung amura matabo, maghalo-halo na naman ang dugo, nagsiladranta na sa right ventricle, mabalik dumanta na sa right atrium, so hindi pwede di at children. Okay? Or nag-agturon ta na sa aorta, mabalik pa ta na sa left atrium. So dapat i-prevent ang backflow of blood. And that is the purpose of your valves in your heart. That's why ang mitral valve here, pag pumunta ng dugo sa left ventricle, dapat hindi na yan babalik sa left atrium. Pag pumasok na yung dugo sa right atrium, hindi na yan the right ventricle, hindi na yan babalik ng right atrium. So because of the tricuspid valve. So yan ang purpose ng valves natin, to prevent backflow of blood. And also here, pag pumasok na yung dugo dito sa aorta natin, hindi na dapat bumalik sa left ventricle. And the last is pericardium. Ito yung children, a membrane here. It protects the heart. That's the purpose of your pericardium. So those are the 4 chambers of the heart and other parts of the heart and their function. So ngayon, alamin naman natin children ang path of blood. ang daan ng dugo, or simply the process of circulation. So to explain this, we need the heart, the body, and of course, the lungs. Diyan po iikot ang dugo. Mula sa katawan natin, papunta sa heart, from the heart going to the lungs, and from the lungs, babalik ulit ng puso, and from the heart, babalik ulit ang dugo sa ating katawan. Nandyan po yan sa ating modules, children. Kaya lang, sisimplihan lang natin para mas madali nating maintindihan. Gagawin lang nating 5 steps to describe the process of circulation. You ready? So here is number 1 step in the process of circulation. 1. Look at the arrow. Yan. Ano ibig sabihin ng number 1 step? From the body, the deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium. Again, the first step in the process of circulation is from the body, the deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium. Deoxygenated blood means dirty blood, impure blood, blood with carbon dioxide. And ang tanong dyan, sino nagdala ng dugo mula sa katawan papunta sa right atrium? Anong sagot? Of course, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. And sino po yung magre-receive ng dugo? Anong chamber ng heart? Of course, the right atrium. Tama. Very good, children. Nasusundan si ma'am. Second step. Ayan. Tingnan nyo yung arrow natin. Number 2. The right ventricle pumps the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Ito po yun. The right ventricle pumps the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Yung dugo na yon na may carbon dioxide, ipapump ni right ventricle papunta sa lungs. Ang tanong, anong magdadala ng dugo na pinump ni right ventricle papunta sa lungs? Sagot? The pulmonary artery. Yan ang magdadala ng dugo papunta sa lungs na pump ni right ventricle. Again, remember, the blood there is with carbon dioxide. Ano ba ang gagawin ni blood sa lungs? Okay, dalawa pong bagay ang gagawin ni blood sa lungs. In the lungs, the blood picks oxygen and leaves carbon dioxide. Kukunin ni blood ang oxygen kay lungs sa air sacs. Si carbon dioxide iiwan niya dyan para mailabas ni respiratory system. And kapag nakuha na ni blood ang oxygen sa lungs, tatawagin na siyang oxygenated blood or blood with oxygen. Ano ang susunod na mangyayari? Let's go to step number 4. The oxygenated blood enters the left atrium sa pamamagitan ni pulmonary vein. And then, the oxygenated blood will enter the left ventricle. And ano kayang gagawin ni left ventricle? The left ventricle pumps the oxygenated blood to the body. And then, the body cells will use the oxygen to burn the food nutrients and to produce energy for our body, for us to live, for us to do our daily activities. So again, let us trace the path of blood. Susundan lang natin, children, yung arrows and the number. So again, let us trace the path of blood or the process of circulation. The blood containing carbon dioxide from the body will enter the right atrium, and the blood is being carried by the superior and inferior vena cava, the two biggest veins in the body. Then the right ventricle will pump the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. In the lungs, the blood will pick oxygen and leaves the carbon dioxide. Then the blood containing oxygen will enter the left atrium, carried by the pulmonary vein. Then the left ventricle will pump the oxygenated blood going back to the body and going back to the body cells. So, paulit-ulit lang yan, children. And then, after that, pag na-use up na yung oxygen, mapuproduce na naman yung carbon dioxide, dala-dala na naman ni dugo yung carbon dioxide, pabalik sa right atrium. Ipapump na naman siya ni right ventricle, papunta sa lungs. Kukunin ni blood yung oxygen, iiwan niya yung carbon dioxide. Then, papasok na naman si blood kay left atrium. Ipapump na naman siya ni left ventricle pabalik sa puso. Gagamitin na naman ni body ang dugong may oxygen or yung oxygen na dala-dala ng dugo. And then, mapuproduce na naman yung carbon dioxide. So, dadali na naman ni dugo ang carbon dioxide here. Papasok na naman siya sa heart, sa right atrium, papump ni right ventricle, papunta sa lungs, kukunin ng oxygen, iiwan yung carbon dioxide, papasok na naman yung dugo sa left atrium, at ipapump na naman ni left ventricle papunta kay body. Gagamitin na naman ni body yung oxygen. May mapuproduce na naman carbon dioxide. So, ulit na naman yung process. Dadalhin na naman ni superior vena cava at inferior vena cava ang dugong may carbon dioxide sa right atrium. I-receive niya. Ipapump na naman ni right ventricle papunta sa lungs. Iiwan ng carbon dioxide, kukunin ng oxygen, babalik na naman ang dugo sa puso na may oxygen. I-receive ni left atrium, ipapump ni left ventricle, papunta na naman sa ating body cells. So the circulation process is continuous. Tuloy-tuloy yan, children. Hindi yan magsa-stop. Magsa-stop lang yan kapag patay na tayo or the heart is not functioning well or the lungs is not, your left and right lungs are not functioning well. Kapag may problema na sa ating katawan, makakaramdam na tayo na hindi na maganda yung circulation of blood. Any question? I hope the circulation process and the circulatory system as a whole ay naintindihan ninyo, mas naliwanagan kayo lalo na sa mga different functions. Basta tandaan lang ninyo ang 5 steps of circulation. Okay, children? Salamat! And patuloy po nating panoorin at ulit-ulitin ang mga videos na ito para mas maintindihan natin at para masugutan natin yung test na puro tama at perfect. So again, thank you for listening and for watching this video. So stay safe, everyone. Again, this is Ma'am Alunda, your science teacher, saying thank you and God bless us all.